Hey, this is Tom from MVP Chess. Welcome back to my series on Bobby Fischer's seminal work, My 60 Memorable Games. In this video, we'll be analyzing Game 2 that Bobby Fischer played against Bent Larsen in 1958 in Portoroz. Before we jump into the game, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And also be sure to follow me on Twitch, MVP_chess. Okay. This is arguably the most famous game from my 60 memorable games, and also includes one of Bobby Fischer's most famous chess quotes of all time. Let's get started. E4, best by test. C5, so we have another Sicilian. Knight f3, d6. Okay, unlike game 1, where Fischer played d3 and anti-Sicilian, here Fischer's going in for the main line. Pawn to d4, open Sicilian on the board. After knight f6, knight c3, Larsen does not go for the Najdorf, instead plays g6, the so-called dragon variation. And the most testing variation against the dragon is the Yugoslav Attack, which of course Fischer played. Bishop e3, bishop g7, pawn to f3. This is an important move to include before bringing the queen to d2 and castling queenside, because white really wants to prevent black from playing this super annoying move, knight g4. Okay, so that's the idea of pawn to f3. We have castles, queen d2, knight to c6, and bishop c4. This is a good move to include to prevent black from playing the pawn advance d5. So Larsen captures a knight here, and after bishop takes d4, bishop e6. Okay, there's tension with the bishops now, with the light-scored bishops. Fischer doesn't want to exchange here and allow black to capture towards the center and gain some control over some key squares, namely the d5 square. Fischer just retreats the bishop to b3. Then we have queen to a5. Okay. And after castle's queenside, the battle lines have been drawn. Okay. Fischer, playing white, has castle to the queen side. Larsen, playing black, has castle to the king side. We have an opposite sides castling position. So the correct strategy for both players is to start respective pawn storms and try to checkmate the king. So Larsen gets started right away. Pawn to b5. Okay, this is a race position. Every tempo counts. You cannot afford slow play. The type of slow play that we saw Sherwin play in game 1, such as bringing the rook to b8 and playing b6. Here, Larsen is playing much more energetically. Pawn to b5. And here, Fischer plays a very instructive move. A very, very instructive move, king b1. Okay, this is always a good idea to play this move, king b1, to secure the king if you castle queenside. Okay, it's very tempting here to just get on with the initiative and start attacking on the king side, but it's really important to bring the king to safety. It also removes the king from a potentially dangerous diagonal here. So king b1. Nice proper chess from Fischer. Okay, so we have b4. So Larsen's making some progress on the queen side. Fischer brings the knight to d5. And we have two exchanges here. And Larsen makes a very, very, very thematic move in the Sicilian defense from the black side, and that is to bring a rook to this half-open c file. So exchanging the c-pawn for white's d-pawn really gives black a lot of counterplay in these open Sicilian positions, in particular on this half-open c-file. So it's very important for black to quickly bring one of the rooks to this file. Okay, so you might think in this position that Fischer would start his kingside play. Not just yet. He takes this opportunity to safeguard this bishop. And he makes a nice note in the annotations after this move that now the game was in the bag as long as he didn't botch it up. Black will never have the opportunity again to snatch off this bishop. And this bishop is a very, very potent piece on this nice diagonal, slicing towards the black king. So we have rook c7. Larsen looking to perhaps double the rooks on the c-file. And here we go. Fischer starts the play on the king side, pawn to h4. And Fischer gave a really, really famous quote about this game. He said he'd won many analogous positions in Skittles chess. And Skittles just means kind of like casual games. And the basic plan is pry open the h-file, sack, sack, mate. And that became a very famous quote. And it's a really great blueprint about how you should go about attacking a fianchettoed king in an opposite side's castling position. So we have queen b5. I think this move was designed to bring the queen off the a file and maybe prepare a5, a4, as best as I can tell. And then Fischer continues, pawn to h5. And then we have rook fc8. Of course, in this position, knight takes, bishop takes, king takes. Fischer would just have this crushing move, pawn to g4, okay? And after the knight retreats, white is just going to be crashing through after g5, just winning a piece. Game over. So rook fc8 was the game continuation. Larsen looking to get some classic Sicilian counterplay on the half-open c-file. Fischer exchanges on g6. So step one of his plan has been accomplished. Okay, the h-file has been opened, and this is what you need to do on the white side of Yugoslav Attack to checkmate the black king. This is step one, is to open up this critical h-file. Fischer plays g4, looking to kick the knight. a5. Larsen hoping for counterplay on the queen side. It's what you have to do. This is a race position. There's just absolutely no time to play slow defensive moves. g5 and then knight h5. Okay, over to you in this position. It seems as though Larsen has a decent initiative. Okay, he's on the verge of playing a4. This knight has found a nice outpost on h5, which has shut down the h-file. What did Fischer play in this position to continue the attack? Pause your videos. Of course, don't forget that famous part of the quote, open the h-file, sack, sack, mate. Of course, Fischer knew there's no issue sacrificing material in this position. It's all about open lines, open files for the pieces to attack the king. So the exchange sacrifice was very natural. And after g takes h5, Fischer plays another instructive move in this position. Really the only winning move, pawn to g6. Okay, and look at this great coordination between this pawn on g6 that's just like a battering ram, opening up the black king in combination with this just dynamite bishop on b3 that's just lasering towards the black king. Larsen plays e5 to try to shut down this long diagonal. I think Larsen knew from experience that if black can avoid the exchange of dark square bishops, it's usually very difficult for white to deliver a winning checkmate attack. Okay, so I think that was his hope with playing e5, was to avoid this exchange and try to safeguard his king. Fischer's able to take on f7 with check, nice in-between move, and then we have bishop e3. Okay, so Fischer, at a moment's notice, can look to play bishop h6 and trade off these dark squared bishops. Really, the last defender of the black king. Larsen here, you know, understandably was looking for any type of counterplay. Played d5, striking back in the center, also trying to blunt this bishop and maybe take on f7. But Fischer just simply captured on d5, and after rook takes f7, here's a nice move by Fischer, pawn to d6. Boom. This passed pawn is an absolute monster. This bishop is now lasering towards the king. Larsen saves the rook, but then we have bishop g5, queen b7, and then just bishop takes f6. So this is an interesting attack. I would say kind of an unusual attack against the Sicilian Dragon. Usually when white is crushing black in these positions, there's been an exchange of the dark squared bishops and white mates black on the h-file. You can envision, you know, a rook and a queen coordinating for a checkmating attack on h8. Here, Larsen has kind of gone through contortions to prevent the exchange of dark square bishops, but this just leads to other advantages, namely this monster pass pawn on d6 and just really, really active pieces and a wide open king. So even though black has managed to prevent the exchange of these bishops, black is still done for. After d7, rook d8, d6, in this position, Larsen resigned the game. Wow. If you are looking for a model game in how to attack a fianchettoed king in an opposite sides castling position, look no further than this game. And just remember Fischer's wise words, his famous quote. Okay, if you ever find yourself in one of these games, open the h-file, sack, sack, mate. Okay, energetic play. Don't be shy about giving up material. You're in a race position, and it's all about checkmating the king. So, as usual, Fischer showed us the way. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the next installment of the series. Thank you so much, and I will see you next for game number 3. Take care.